Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for joining us for another live show. And we're about to get into this 22, 23 season. Week one is in the books. It's going down. We had some upsets. We had some failures. Well, you know what? Without further ado, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Stephen Rubain. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing very well. Like I said before, just call me the silent assassin.
Oh my goodness! I know. I knew you were going to come in here with that type of energy. You feeling good about yourself? It's only week one, and like you guys, it's only week one. Even if you're ahead right now, it means nothing. Wait till week 7 and see, and let's see who's on top.
Like I said, number one in the office football pool, as I told you I would be.
Steve, it's been 1 week. 1 week.
We start strong, we end strong.
Oh, I want you to keep that same energy all season long. Yes. All season long.
Well, let's get this going because I know Packard right now is still kind of dazed.
Dazed is not the word, man. Oh, my goodness. Let me see. Do I got people bothering me on my phone right now?
While he's doing that, let me talk to you about the game I told you, I guaranteed you guys, Cleveland Browns over the Carolina Packers, Panthers, don't matter. They had no chance against the Cleveland Browns. And I told you guys why Cleveland was going to win, and Cleveland won exactly for the reason why I told you they were going to win. You can't have one guy who has a personal vendetta against the organization come out and get that team motivated to come out to beat them. And Cleveland's defense dominated Carolina to win the game. Now, I'll go also into another guarantee I had.
I see you looking at me. I feel the pokes that you're doing at me. Hey, you know what?
Look, I just try to give you guys winners. That's all. I try to give you guys winners.
Before we get into that, Steve, let's get into the news, man. Tell the people about the news.
I'm telling the news. The news is I was 11-4-1 last week. 11-4-1. Now in any history, 11-4-1 will get you into the playoffs in almost any NFL season. And let's just say
season of 1 week is not a season.
Well, I'm going to have 17 seasons of 11-4-1. So you guys just get used to it.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you're feeling yourself, Steve. Hey, like I said, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy.
Right. But I'll get to some news. I mean, I know Packard wants to change the subject, but I'll get to some news.
Oh no, we gonna get into that because we got to get in depth into what happened.
Yes, but let's start first with injuries. Of course, injuries are always the tough part about the NFL. You start off a season.
Cowboys.
Yeah, you start off a season, you go off, you think, oh, I got the best draft ever. I got Dak Prescott. He's going to take me to the playoffs. Yeah. Unfortunately, week 1 injury.
I don't think that's a wrap. I'm going to be totally honest with you and Cowboy people and my homeboy said, which is a diehard Cowboy fan, you know, he didn't like what I said. I honestly like Rush better than Dak Prescott. From what I saw from Rush, he had an excellent game and he had an off game. But it looks like he's got what it takes to take it over.
All right, guys. Once again, throw the flag.
Hey, you threw the challenge flag. You didn't grab it.
Well, I'm challenging you on this. I'm taking Dak Prescott any day of the week.
Oh, you're not taking him next week because he's having surgery.
Well, he's having surgery next week.
So what you mean you take him any day of the week? He's out.
Well, as I mentioned already, we'll see who will win the game this week for the Cowboys or lose the game for the Cowboys this week.
Hey, I hear a little rumbling and grumbling over there. They actually suggested Big Ben. Did you hear about that?
I heard Big Ben. Hey, that's an option. I bet for the right price, he'd do it.
He didn't look well when he was leaving.
Well, but he also had a little sour grapes with the Steelers organization. So what better way to a little sour grapes? A little He came out. I mean, he didn't come out and state it distinctly, but you can kind of by his last comments that it didn't end the way he wanted it to.
Do tell. You mean he wasn't finished?
That's someone to say he wasn't finished. He felt the organization gave up on him, and
Gave up on him.
Yeah, he basically pulled a Baker Mayfield. That's saying that he felt the organization could, they were trying to get rid of him earlier. They kind of like trying to force him out the door. They didn't let him leave on his terms. That type of stuff.
Did he see how he was playing?
Well, once again,
did he see how he was playing?
A quarterback never sees how they're playing. All they see is what they've done.
Peyton Manning did.
Well, Peyton Manning is that rare exception. You have greatness, you have good, and then you have mediocre.
Just like you have Tom Brady and you have Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
You have Aaron Rodgers who wants to show me the money, and you have Tom Brady that says, I know I'm going to get the money. Pay those guys. I need those guys to work with me on the field.
And that's why one guy has 7 rings and one guy has 1.
Hey, you know what? That makes total sense right there to me. Total sense. How do y'all feel about that out there?
Well, I mean, I've been saying this for years and years. Tom Brady gets a bad, bum reputation, but
no. Let's keep it 100%. Tom Brady doesn't get a bum reputation. It's been a lot of foul things associated with the Patriots organization when it comes to them wanting to win.
Okay, I'd rather organization want to win or be like the Washington Commanders, who has taken 25 years of trying to dismantle a once proud organization. Give me Tom Brady and the Patriots any day of the week over the Washington Commanders.
I like how you did that. It seemed like no matter what we're talking about, you always seem to throw your little rocks at your organization.
Well, we have to call, like I said, to all my Commander fans out there, and a lot of them came out and said they agree with what I said. Daniel Snyder has to go.
Did it roll off your tongue when you said Commander fans?
It really didn't. I mean, and speaking of that, since he did bring this up, what is this take command sign? People are now holding take command signs.
They got to do something to make it sound halfway decent. Leave the people alone, Steve. They on your side.
How do you not sell out the first game of the season? I mean, I know it was Jacksonville, but come on.
Y'all won.
If you don't sell out the first game of the season, then the organization, a win is tainted. I'll take the win only because I did pick them to win. Keep in mind, I did pick them to win. But it's still a tainted win if you have a half-empty stadium. Let's get back to the news. We got a little sidetrack.
Yeah, a little sidetrack.
So we mentioned about Dak Prescott, thumb injury. They're talking possibly 5 to 7 weeks. In a given situation, most likely he'll probably try to push for the closer. But
7 weeks?
Thumbs, you never know. Well, they had to have surgery. So they had to put a pin. So with the pin, that's going to be at least 4 to 5 weeks, most likely.
Isn't that the same surgery that Russell had last year too?
I believe it was the same thing. Was not, if I don't remember correctly, I might be wrong on this. Was it on his throwing hand or was it on his other hand? That's on
Russell Wilson. It was his throwing hand.
Yeah. So I think So, and Russell Wilson was out for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, and then when he came back, he wasn't Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it wasn't the same guy. So I mean,
he was Clark Kent. Yeah. Russell Wilson had left the building.
Yeah, you can say that. So I mean, first of all, I did tell you guys that I don't think Cowboys were going to win the division anyway. So I did mention that.
I said that too.
I totally don't think they're going to win the division. So
you think is their season done?
They could battle for a wild card. I mean, depending on how he comes back and if Cooper Rush can keep the fort.
I think he can do it.
There's a couple games, winnable games.
Oh, another rumbling in the building. Somebody came. Who was it? Somebody came out and was talking about Kaepernick going to them. Oh, it was
listen to me.
Who was it?
I got a better chance of being the starting right tackle for the Cowboys next week than Colin Kaepernick.
Wow.
Now when people come out and just make crazy comments that have absolutely no sense. I mean, do people not realize that Jerry Jones is the main person who blackballed Colin Kaepernick for the league? Can we just keep it real?
Hey, you know what?
Colin Kaepernick's been blackballed from the league.
It was Stephen A. And he said this, and he basically said that he said, I doubt it happens since it's Texas, but there is a guy that is mobile that can get in there and get out of there, and his name is Colin Kaepernick. And I'm just that's what Stephen A. said. I'm only throwing it out there because
he's been having some bad weeks. So Stephen A. has been having some challenges. So
isn't he a Cowboy fan?
Stephen A. also did say that I think was it that the Chargers would have the most points, but that the Raiders would win. I think last week he was on the air and they asked him who had the most points next week, and he said the Chargers.
You still want to?
And they asked him who would win the game.
You were right about that game. Oh my
thank
goodness!
God. I'm glad you said that.
That's the reason you own it like that, because
Chargers versus Raiders. Why would he think that the Raiders were going to win that game?
You know what, Steve? Let's just get into the picks. Let's get into the picks from last week. Let's go over some of these main games.
You don't want to talk about injuries? Huh? You don't want to talk about injuries at all?
Okay, kick the injuries out.
All right, let me throw the injuries out real quick.
And stop stabbing me because you had a good week.
I'm going to keep this interesting, guys. So I just want to always, every chance I get to stab him in the back, I'm going to stab him. Because I guaranteed you guys who was going to win, and he went against it. And basically he's behind 3 games of me, and it's the 3 games I told him he could win. And he took, if he would have taken Cleveland, if he would have taken the Chargers, and he would have taken the Bills, right now we'd be tied.
Hey, all games that were winnable.
All games that were not winnable.
The teams got outcoached.
But I will tell you guys later on why those 3 were losses. But let's get back to the injury reports. So tomorrow's game, Chargers and the Chiefs, we have Keenan Allen, who is out.
Yeah, why did he got taken out the game? I wasn't really on that game.
Injury. Keenan Allen is an injury, and he is already marked as out for next week.
Anybody I pick up from the Chargers always gets hurt either week 1 through week 2 or week 3, and then they're no show the rest of the season. They're in and out, in and out, in and out.
So I'm going to tell you guys, well, I won't even go there with him, but I'm going to tell you guys for a fantasy, if you're desperate for a fantasy flex option, DeAndre Carter for the Chargers could be your salary ticket.
Hey, I'm going to tell you.
Guy, he can be somebody who can get an easy, quick touchdown, can make a big play. So just keep that in mind.
If you're looking for a quarterback, Geno, I don't know where he came from. Good gracious, Batman. Where'd that man come from? That man is he's like a player reborn.
Well, Geno goes back to what I say. Quarterbacks, sometimes it takes them time. I mean, we've become an NFL where like everybody 1 or 2 years, they just want to just throw a guy in the dumpster and just say he's done.
Like they did Garoppolo over there?
Like they did Garoppolo, or like they did Carson Wentz. Let's talk about Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz, Garoppolo did a lot better than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, well, I can say that. But
let's finish these injury reports.
Let's go injury reports. All right, go ahead. DeAndre Smith, possible, may not play this week for the Detroit Lions as a question mark. Big one for the Steelers, TJ Watt, torn pec.
Oh.
Now, the good news is that apparently it wasn't such a bad tear that he's going to be out possibly for the entire season. There's a chance that he could come back for a potential playoff run. So we'll keep an eye on that because that is a huge deal for the Steelers defense. Also, we have not such a big deal, but for a team like the Chiefs, Harrison Butker.
Oh, not my kicker. I got my fantasy team.
Your fantasy kicker is out this week.
Oh, my goodness. I just got to do a little shuffling.
Yeah, them do a little shuffling. But, by the way, Packard does not like having kickers on his fantasy teams.
No, I don't. Well, no, you know what? I think I'll bring them back now that we have those strong kickers. Like it was interesting that year when Janikowski was the man.
Oh man, yeah, he was good for a 60-yarder.
Oh yeah, and you see this guy.
Well, we're gonna get about 60-yarder in a few minutes. Let's talk about.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'll talk about that later.
Yes, sir.
But before I get to that, let me just go over the last part of the injury report. Najee Harris has been sitting out.
Not Najee.
Yeah, so quite a few injuries to talk about. So question marks. Now, segmenting into that, talking about someone who is not on the injury report, but someone who I told you guys the first week to be concerned about, and that is Joe Burrow. I said Joe Burrow, has been hiding injuries.
He'll bounce back.
He had this hernia thing or whatever it was over the summer. He didn't tell the team. He had to have surgery. First half, 4 turnovers, just all over the place. But
he showed up. He tried to do it, Steve. He tried.
well, he tried to do it, but unfortunately,
He
despite his
ran well,
comeback,
but he failed.
a 29-yard field goal by the kicker for the Bengals missed. Cost me a win.
Those field goals that get you every
Those
time.
field goals that get you every time, man. That was, I mean, I'm watching that. I'm sitting there. I'm dancing. I'm jiggling. Everything's moving.
Did you
Shake.
Did you put a card in?
Oh, yeah, I put a card in.
Did you make any money this week?
No.
Okay, yeah. And I apologize for my pick 4. Hey, first week. Don't worry, we're gonna get this in.
But I'll tell you why I didn't went on the card, but we'll go to that in a second. But let's talk about the Bengals disappointment. But Joe Burrow should have a bounce back this week just because of the competition. But it is somebody you need to keep an eye on as far as throughout the season.
What you think is ailing him, or did he come out and say it?
Well, he had that hernia surgery or whatever. The hernia surgery he had. I mean, I think his body's just it's not 100%, and he just looked kind of off. So just something to keep an eye on, you fantasy guys. It looked like Jamar Chase still had a pretty solid week, but
Jamar Chase is nothing without Joe Burrow.
Exactly. So that's why it's very important to keep an eye on him week to week to see how he's doing.
Let's get into this.
Let's get into those picks from last week.
You know, the first game that's
I think I've already gone over all the games that really matter, but we can go over anyway.
First game up the bat.
We didn't talk about Buffalo Rams.
Oh, you want to talk about the Buffalo Rams?
Oh, yeah. Come on now.
Why you want to go there? They got Buffalo. Let me tell you like this: Buffalo is a well-oiled machine. We're not gonna call them Buffalo anymore this season. We're gonna call them Steamboat.
Yeah. Now I called Packard at halftime. The score was 10-10, and Packard was just like, "Well, wait till the second half. They're gonna come back. They're gonna do all this."
It's all about me. I see.
It's
all about me. Okay.
We had a great quarterback versus a good quarterback. Now, Josh Allen is a great quarterback. There's just something about him. He has that it factor. He's somebody who you just feel like he's going to have a monster career. Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. I've told you guys for years and years, he's a good quarterback. Now, in the right system, he can do some stuff for you.
Super Bowl winning quarterback,
like he did last year.
Put some respect on his name.
I'm gonna compare Matthew Stafford to a guy near and dear to my heart, Mark Rypien. Mark Rypien in 1992 Washington Redskins. And I love saying Washington Redskins, by the way. 1992 Washington Redskins had one of the great seasons in the history of the NFL. MVP type season. Team was 14-2, dominated the playoffs, beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. Great season. I mean, that team was just dominant. I mean, he only got sacked 9 times the whole season. I mean, they only had 2 losses by a total of 3 points. I mean, it was just a dominating type performance over the season. A good quarterback on the right team can have a great season. And that's what I'm trying to explain to Packard about Matthew Stafford. He's a good quarterback in a great system. Now, when he was in Detroit as a good quarterback, he was mediocre. He was all over the place. The great quarterbacks lead average organizations to greatness. Brett Favre led an average Green Bay Packers to greatness. Who else we think of? Actually, talking about Josh Allen. The Bills have been mediocre the past 20 years before Josh Allen came in. And all of a sudden now, all the talk is Super Bowl. So greatness rises to the top. And that's all I'm going to say about the Bills-Rams. Let's get into some other games. We had some ugly, talk about coaching. Bad coaching decisions. And I know everybody.
Now, can we get into the Browns and Carolina?
No, we're going to say that for last because I just know he just wants to get off. He wants to just get it over with. So I'm going to make him have to suffer. The game that pretty much everyone's still talking about is the Broncos and Seahawks. Now
you're skipping all the way to Monday night.
I am.
You can't skip.
Yes,
you can't go to Monday night
because the situation was just so ludicrous. It was just so outrageous, just so horrible. You have to look over everything else and just get to rookie head coach Nathaniel Hackett.
But at the same, oh yeah,
I mean, this guy had the worst first game of a rookie head coach in the history of the NFL. I'm trying to just think back in history, someone who had a worse type of start. I mean, he could have got blown out 51-0.
The first
and
thing
it would have been a better start than what happened to him.
The first thing, though, you don't get a Russell Wilson and don't let the man be on your team and be Russell Wilson.
I mean, you paid this man $200 million. You got the ball. First of all,
they gave him an extension already too.
They gave him an extension. Yeah, got a huge contract. They had the ball twice at the goal line and fumbled the ball. Now, I'm not going to blame Russell Wilson for that. That's not on him. One time it was 4th down. The score was 16. I think it was 16-12 or 17-13.
Right.
And they had 4th down and 2. They went for it, went for a run, and Melvin Gordon fumbled the ball into the end zone.
You sure it was Gordon? Because I'm pretty sure it was the other running back.
Well, I think
I had on my fantasy team.
Well, yeah,
I think he fumbled twice.
Well, Javonte Williams fumbled the first one, but I think Melvin Gordon was the one who fumbled the big one that in the end zone that cost them. Yeah. Williams fumbled the first one. They had the ball. I think it was like a 3rd down, and Williams fumbled it. Could have been mixed up, but either way, both the running backs fumbled the ball. They didn't go for the field goal. It was 17-13, and they had plenty of time left. But even as outrageous as that was, end of the game, Russell Wilson's doing what Russell Wilson does, driving the ball down the field. They had over a minute left and timeouts, mind you. It was 3rd and 14. Russell Wilson does a little pass out to the flank. Running back gets the ball about 9 yards up, 4th and 5. Now, common sense would tell anyone 4th and 5 at the other team's 47-yard line and close to a minute left. You go for it. You got Russell Wilson.
Russell, the man, I can use my legs, Wilson.
Exactly. You know what he does. I mean, he don't need to prove what he does in the clutch. I mean, his history speaks for itself.
You could tell on his face it looked like he wanted to say something.
This coach panicked, first of all. Let the clock run down, which makes absolutely no sense. Because even if you don't make the field goal, whatever, you don't give yourself a chance.
Exactly.
You basically just tell yourself the game's over.
Exactly. But it is what it is.
Well, it cost me a win. It is what it is. It is what it is. When you're supposed to win the game.
I see. You need to get this off your chest.
It's off my chest because, number one, it cost me 2 fantasy losses because I lost 2 fantasy leagues by 1 point. Because I had Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy on the same team. And instead of going for and getting his touchdown, he plays for the loss and going to try a 64-yard field goal in conditions. In conditions. Listen, we're not even in a dome. We're not even in. He's playing in Seattle. The wind gets the ball a little to the side.
Oh, my goodness.
So this guy, and then to make it worse, he's going to come out and say, yeah, I messed up. That's the last thing as a coach you want to do in your first game is say, I admit I made the mistake. And Russell Wilson had that look on his face like, man, I left one idiot coach and Pete Carroll to go to another one. This guy, Pete Carroll, cost me a Super Bowl. This guy cost me the revenge game of all revenge games. All I want to do is beat Pete Carroll. I mean, you look at Russell Wilson now because he's.
Did you see when they went on the field? They shook hands, but you can feel the intensity on the field.
It was 2 professionals acting like professionals. And I will say this, Russell Wilson is the ultimate professional. Before the game, he didn't get him any bulletin board material. He didn't make any T-shirts. He didn't come out to glorify what he's going to try to do to Seattle. He went out there and just played the game.
This is you getting at
which
me
segues
again.
Into Baker Mayfield.
I knew it was all you trying to get at me. Throwing rocks and stones. Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation, stand up. It was one game and we got robbed by the refs. Now, I know what Steve will say. I know what he'll say. We shouldn't have put ourselves in that position.
You play to win the game.
Hey, it is what it is. I like what I saw at the end of the game when they finally let the man start throwing the ball. I don't understand where they came back with the same plays they used to use with Cam Newton throwing to the sideline.
Now, did I not mention to you guys before the season started that I had a big question mark at head coach for the Panthers? Did I not say that? Am I not on record as saying that I don't care who you get for the quarterback?
Steve, yes.
You still got Matt Rule as quarterback, and unless somebody proves me different?
Yes, Steve. I know we got Matt Rule as our head coach, and everybody in Carolina knows we got Matt Rule, but we got to use what we got. And what we have right now is we have a quarterback with a head full of steam, and we have some nice wide receivers out there, and we will rebound. We will make the playoffs. We will win the NFC South. Holla at your boy. I said what I said.
He was going too far. He was doing good. They're going to bounce back.
I said what I said.
They're going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to win the NFC South.
We're winning the NFC South.
There's only one sheriff in town in the NFC South. His name is TB12, Tom Brady.
You can say whatever you want to say. We got Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
There's a new sheriff in town.
All right. Well, we'll see how this goes in the season. When he's going to have to apologize. But all right. So I did say what I had to say. I'm not going to feed too much into it because it is just one game, and I do expect him to bounce back this week. So
we had a bunch of games that end off with the field goal.
Yeah.
That guy over there in Cleveland, what was that, a 65-yard field goal that he kicked?
Yeah, to win the game.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
that's like Janikowski reborn.
Yeah. Hey.
Now it's interesting to put kickers back into my fantasy football list.
Yeah, the kickers are the good, the bad, and the ugly. And one kicker lost his job this week, and that was the kicker for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, let's talk about the disappointment of all disappointments this week. Packard had mentioned what cost me in my picks this week. Colts, Texans. I mean, nobody had the Texans. I mean, I don't even think the owner of the Texans thought that they were going to win this game against the Colts. I mean, the owner of the Texans like, look, it's just one game. We'll lose
have fun, guys. Have fun.
Have fun. Matt Ryan went out there and does what Matt Ryan does. The good, the bad, and the ugly. He started out like he thought he was still in Atlanta, 2021. Didn't know how to throw to the receiver. Didn't know how not to take a sack. All over the place in the first half. Then Matt Ryan in the second half thought he was back in 2017, his MVP season, or near MVP season with Atlanta. He looked like a whole different guy at the end of the game. Coming on, just tearing it up. Tied the game in the fourth quarter. Then the kicker.
The kicker. This week, the dagger was putting a lot of backs by the kicker. This week was settled by the kicker.
Now, mind you, once again, I was dancing, prancing. I had my red zone on. I'm waiting for this kick to go through. I said, man, this is one of the greatest comebacks since Tom Brady against the Falcons.
You got to say that Carolina game was good at the end.
Yeah, Carolina game was good at the end. Yeah, great kick. I don't know. We'll give that kicker credit for the kick.
Got it. Can't take nothing away from that man.
But that kicker for the Colts lost his job this week for missing what should have been an easy kick in a dome. Now, once again, in a dome stadium. There's a big difference between playing outside in conditions and playing in a dome.
Hey, somebody else that should have lost their job was a kicker from Cincinnati.
Woo, yeah. The only reason he didn't lose his job was because he had such a great season last season. I think
that has nothing to do with what you've done for me lately.
Well, when it comes to kickers are a dime. You can't just go out there and get any kicker.
Hey, so, what's going to be funny is that going to be in his head? Are we going to see that return from week to week, kick to kick? Or is he going to be able to turn the page and get that ball over?
That's a great question. We're going to have to wait and see. Now, right now, I'm already had question marks at the quarterback position with them. So who knows?
Hey, we running a little bit late. Let's get into these picks, Steve.
Let's do it. So we want to get into some football picks?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's start off with
Chargers and the Chiefs.
Well, as I told you guys last week, the Chargers would knock off the Raiders, and they did that. And so
it's a new week, Steve.
It's a new week. The Chiefs look real good.
They look good. They look good. They still not the Steamboat.
That
The
Mahomes
Steamboat
is,
I got respect for the Steamboat.
that Mahomes is a machine. I'm starting to question, is he even human at this point?
You know what I
He-
love in fantasy? That's what I went after. It
Yeah.
was under the radar. Nobody even thought about Juju or however you say his
I'm not.
Scandings
Yeah, well, I'm not sold on
and
Juju or
Kelsey.
Scantling.
Hey, it doesn't
But
matter if you
I
sold on him.
did tell him Kelsey's going to have a monster season.
And I have him in 90% of my
I mean,
leagues.
the only thing that will hold Kelsey back is the injury. But I'm not hoping the injury's on him. But if he's healthy all season, he might be in the MVP discussion.
Steve, the people want to know who you're picking.
Listen,
Kick it out. Kick it out.
When you go 11-4-1, you have the right to give the people. I'm educating people here.
Well, while you educate people, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Well, I'm taking the Chiefs too. I mean, it don't take a brain science to understand that at home, he's going to come out and show out. So
yes, sir. And my fantasy team shall prevail this week.
All right. Well,
Dolphins go to town in Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson over there. Who you taking, Steve?
Now, this was a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Dolphins did come back and had a pretty strong week.
Yes, sir.
Now, as much as the offense looked pretty solid, the defense looked dominant. And so,
inquiring minds want to know. What do you pick, Steve?
I got to take the Ravens at home.
Whoa.
I'm going to take the experience. I'm taking Lamar Jackson to get the job done.
Okay.
I think they got, all the intangibles are going to go their way. It's going to be a good game.
Well. What I like here is I'm going to be able to go one up on Steve. I'm taking Miami.
Ooh,
yes, sir. Tyreek Hill, Tua, and the Waddle come to town. And that's all you're going to see is the Waddle in the end zone, sir.
Okay.
The Waddle.
I got Tua in several of my leagues, but I will say this much, though, and I'm going to give you guys, and this is why I told you guys about taking quarterbacks for having two quarterbacks that you could use and be able to switch out depending on the week. I'm taking Carson Wentz over Tua in fantasy, and I'll explain to you guys later why.
All right. Now, Jets at the Browns. I'm go ahead and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna kick it out. I'm gonna say the Browns.
I will say the Browns too. The Jets are still a work in progress as always. They did look a little better, but at home, and people don't understand. I mean, we want to talk about the kicker for the Browns.
Right.
Jacoby Brissett is a serviceable quarterback. People don't understand.
I've seen that.
He shows leadership. He's going to go out there. He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to do anything to hurt the game for you.
He didn't panic. He stayed there and took his licks. He didn't try to force nothing.
No. I mean, they're going to be in. People are selling off the Browns, but they're going to be in position come when Deshaun Watson comes back. Now, the question I'm going to have come the season is, what Deshaun Watson will we see when he comes back? Because let's keep in mind, he hasn't played in a couple of years. So it's not like he's just going to come out there and just.
It's just like riding a bike, Steve. It's just like riding a bike, Steve.
They've said this time and time again, but we've seen many a quarterback come back from a long time out and not the same.
Well, let's go down. The Commanders take a trip to Detroit.
Well, let's go on this one. For the first time in 20 weeks, the Lions are a home favorite.
That's what I'm going with.
So,
oh my bad. Did I say my pick already?
He said his pick.
Yeah.
Now this is why I'm 11-4-1 and Packett's not. Now I did my homework.
Oh.
Now the last time the Lions were a home favorite, you know what they did? They lost to the Carolina Panthers 20-0. And let's see if Packett knows his homework. Who was the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers the last time Detroit Lions lost?
I don't know who was the quarterback. We done went through some people.
PJ Walker. PJ Walker.
Hey man.
Now PJ Walker.
You didn't have to say the man's name like that. His name is PJ Walker. Don't call him sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay. PJ Mediocre Walker. All right. So as I was saying, PJ Walker was able to shut out the Lions as a home favorite. So you know what's going to happen. Washington Commanders on the road will find a way to beat the Lions.
Oh,
lock it down.
that was near and dear to your heart picking the Commanders like that. But
No,
hey,
I just know the Lions are, but the Lions are. You got to look at the history of it. What makes you think?
we're gonna take a trip now.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Finish what you were saying.
I mean, I gave you guys a pick. Now you guys, you can go Packett's way and get a loss, or you can go my way and
Look,
get a win.
let everybody. I want y'all to remember this. How Steve is right now. It's all nice and fine when 1 week go by and you feel that you won the war. That was just a little battle, Steve. It was just a little battle.
Okay.
Now let's go to Jacksonville where the Colts go down there to battle.
Colts Jacksonville. This was a tough one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went back and forth and back and forth.
This was tough.
It was tough only because, as
you
I
don't
mentioned,
want me to beat you. That's why it was tough.
It was tough only because number one, Matt Ryan is the good, the bad, and ugly.
All right.
So Matt Ryan can stink up this game. He can find a way to lose this game.
Okay.
He has a history of doing this. But I'm not seeing it that way. I think that they're going to do Taylor left, Taylor right, Taylor up the middle. Jonathan Taylor has a big game. If you got him in fantasy, you should be starting him anyway, but you should be in pretty good shape.
It looks like we're in agreement there. He didn't say his pick, but he said a lot of Jonathan this, Jonathan that. Lets me think that he's going with the Colts.
I'm going with the Colts, of course. But
so
Jacksonville, Jacksonville, they'll show up. They'll do decent. But I think Taylor will dominate. He may have a 2-3 touchdown game.
So am I. Buccaneers at New Orleans.
Now, this is another tough one.
Only tough. What about Brady?
Because
all that stuff you said earlier is a man, TB, and
Yeah, but the last couple of years since Brady's come to the Buccaneers, the Saints have seemed to have Brady's number. So they've managed to find a way to, I think they've won 3 out of 4 since he's been there. But this time, I think Brady's going to find a way. He's going to eke out a win. I'm going with the Buccaneers. Close game, beats the Saints.
Yeah. All what he said, but I'm taking the Bucks. Yeah, okay.
All right, we got the Bucks too, so we got the same team.
Yep, Carolina on the road going to New York, big city of dreams.
All right, now in this game, and this was
I'm taking Carolina. Ain't nothing to talk about, Steve. You know what it is.
All
Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot. Holla at your boy.
Like I said.
And if y'all want some smoke, hit me in the DM and we can make it interesting.
Let him have his emotions. I'm going to give you guys a reason. Now, Carolina will win the game.
Yes, sir.
But not for the reason that Pack is going with.
Oh, man.
They're going to win the game because Saquon Barkley last week had the game of his life to pull out that win against the Titans. And mind you guys, I also told you guys I had question marks on the Titans. When you don't go with your heart, this is what hurts. Someone told me that Giants will find a way to win that game because I don't trust that Tannehill. I don't trust him. But he found a way to lose the game for him. This week, the Giants come back to the earth. Carolina wins. Reason, not just emotion. Reason.
Well, my reason is last week Carolina got a rough deal with Chubb. Chubb was all over the place. Chubb was up the middle. Chubb was moving the ball. This week, we will not let the ball be ran on us that way. If anybody's ever played ball, just common sense, they're going to prepare to stop the run, and that's what New York is. That's what they have.
Okay.
The run. Once we take that away from them, we're going to pound them into the dirt.
All right, then. So
it's not just emotion. It is what it is.
All right, he'll have his emotion, and I got my reason, and we both should have a win this week.
Patriots at the Steelers.
Ooh. Now, old tradition would tell me that the Patriots would bounce back. Belichick is going to find a way to pull this game out. This ain't the same Belichick.
It's the same Belichick. He just got different weapons.
Yeah,
it's a difference when you can be the commander-in-chief and you can tell somebody, all right, I'm going to need you to go up the right. And when you go up the right, when you get to the fork in the hill, I want you to go straight up the middle and take over the hill. You can give all the perfect commands you want. If the people don't follow directions the way you told them to do it, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm just going, like I said, Emotion versus reason. I like his emotion. I'm just going to give you the reason. Steelers are going to win because, quite frankly, Trubisky is just going to do a better job than people want to lay off for him because he's now with an organization that believes in him, number one, and has structure.
You think they believe in him, or he's just a placeholder until Pickett's ready to go?
No, I think they believe in him. I think legitimately, anybody who knows Tomlin knows Tomlin is not a guy who's going to go with rookies. The rookie got to earn his keep. He's not just you did something at Pittsburgh, so we're going to give you. I should say Pitt. That way people understand it. The University of Pitt. Just because you did good at the University of Pitt don't mean you're going to come to the NFL and be a star.
Well, I have an easy game for you, Steve.
All right, let's do it.
Falcons at the Rams.
Oh,
bounce back.
Yeah, the Rams. I mean,
bounce back.
That could be your win by 20, 25-point game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams also. And the game that we didn't talk about, that we should have talked about, where the team sat the strong, well, I won't say strong, but the best option down to start the new guy, and thought the new guy was going to take over, where the other guy that I don't clearly didn't see the wrong in him. Mistakes are mistakes, and if you don't let somebody pass the ball, you can't expect for them to pass the ball at clutch times, especially when he's been facilitating the whole season. But Garoppolo was sat down, Trey Lance started, and how did Trey Lance look?
Okay, once again, emotions versus reason.
How did Trey Lance look?
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys.
Just tell me, how did Trey Lance look to you?
Trey Lance was playing a situation where that field was horrendous.
Oh, man.
The conditions were horrendous. The weather was horrendous. I'm not so much going to be a Trey Lance backer, but let's call it what it is. Those type of games are hit or miss. You can't judge a quarterback based on that type of a game. When you're in those type of conditions, everything goes out the window. Okay. And this is a quarterback who played in a dome in North Dakota State. He just didn't look good in the weather. So I'm going to say he didn't look good, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he's done.
I didn't say he was done, but that was an understatement, saying he didn't look good.
No, he didn't look good at all. And your first game coming out as a starter,
and that's a coaching call to put Garoppolo on the bench.
Oh,
and
absolutely,
put Trey Lance in.
Absolutely. And I mean, and it was a game that could have gone either way. Towards the end, Bears just defensively made plays.
The Bears. Let's say that again.
Yeah,
the Bears, the struggling Bears, beat the dominant 49ers.
Why? And listen to me, it cost me in my bets. I mean, I had the 49ers to win all the way, and
there you have it.
But I'm not going to sit here and say Trey Lance is a bum or that he just doesn't.
By no means is Trey Lance a bum, and by every account he will do his thing.
Yeah, and so I'm going to wait and see.
I just don't think he should have started this year after the success in Garoppolo last year. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I'm a Garoppolo fan in the sense that he's professional. I understand that if
like
you're
the way
sitting here,
shut his mouth and got treated badly.
Well, no, I'm sitting here saying that as a quarterback, you do your dues, and then when the opportunity presents itself,
you rise to the
occasion. Now, last year for Garoppolo, he didn't rise to the occasion against the Rams. I mean, they should have won that game if Garoppolo would have done what he needed to get done.
I hear that. I hear that.
I mean, this is a what have you done for me lately league. If you
so you put the rookie in that hasn't played in any game.
You believe that that's your future. If you're sold on him as being your future, then you got to take some lumps in order to.
Okay, well, we're gonna see how many lumps they take until they figure out and Garoppolo's in. I'll give it to week 4. Garoppolo will be back in the game.
All right, so who are you taking this week then? Seahawks.
I'm taking the Seahawks. Gino.
Well, I got the Seahawks too.
Batman Gino looked good out there.
Yeah,
he looked like I should go pick him up and put him on the bench for a backup.
And that's why.
What did he do? I think he did like 23 out of 25.
Yeah, he had crazy numbers.
My goodness,
a lot of poise. And like I said, this goes back to sometimes you got to give a quarterback a chance to.
Well, he came in the league with all those that he was injury prone to where he had to take the backup role. People got tired of putting
too. He was partying. He was, he kind of did what the young people do and just wasn't committed to the game.
So you're taking Geno also?
I got Geno also, yes.
All right. Bengals at the Cowboys. Seemed like a pretty easy one to me.
Bengals will win.
There you have it. I'm taking the Bengals also.
It's not going to be as easy as it made out to be, though. Cooper Rush will play.
Hey, don't. Like I said, I like Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott, sir.
Cooper Rush is going to play.
I like Cooper Rush.
And so, I mean, this game could be one that next week we're talking about as a Cowboy win, and I won't feel bad about it because I like Cooper Rush too. And quite frankly, as I mentioned several times already, I got some severe questions on the Bengals. There's just something about them; they just didn't look right. So let's see. So we're taking the Bengals, but I'm putting an asterisk next to it. And I don't want Cowboy fans calling me next week and say, "Yo, you took the Bengals."
Get him in his DM and let him know how y'all feel about him.
I'm not a fan of Cowboy fans because
Texans,
they are the worst. I mean, they've been crying this America team for 50-some years and haven't been to the Super Bowl since 1997, but yet still cry America's team. How you gonna be America's team and you haven't been to a championship game in 25 years?
Hey,
explain that to me, Patrick.
I thought the Patriots would be America's team.
Explain that to me. How do you go call yourself America's team?
I thought that, like I said, I thought the Patriots should be America's team, but with the colors, everything, the scheme. But hey, it is what it is. They took that name long ago, and they've been rolling with it. Texans at the Broncos.
Texans at the Broncos. This is the lock, stock, and barrel game of the week.
It's easy.
I mean, Russell Wilson's going to come out like a madman. If you got any Broncos on your team, put them all in. Putting the people off the bench.
So we're in agreement. We're both taking the Broncos. Cardinals at the Raiders.
This was another one that kind of going against my gut.
Raiders. I'm taking them.
As much as I'm not a Raider fan.
You don't have to be a fan. You better pick right, or I'm gonna have to step up on you again.
I just didn't like what I saw from the Cardinals last week. I mean, I figured they were going to lose the game. I had, of course, I had the Chiefs to win, but they just didn't look good at all. I mean, what's his name? The quarterback, Murray.
They'll get it together, just like
I hope they get it together.
Carr had a rough time too. Those interceptions were unacceptable.
Well, Carr at least showed flashes. I mean, he at least looked like the part. Cardinals, I don't know.
This is going to be an interesting game. We're going down to Green Bay. Bears at Green Bay. Green Bay has given the Bears the blues for so many years. Right now, this is going to be an interesting game. Now, I took Aaron Rodgers because it's kind of hard not to take Aaron Rodgers over the Bears, but
it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
The Bears always show out for Green Bay. They're going to compete. I've told you guys many times I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but he will find a way to bounce back this week and pull out the win.
And Eureka, we got 2 Monday night games this week.
2 Monday night games. Now, what's going on here?
I don't understand why would they make the Bears and the Packers the Sunday night game. That doesn't seem like it. I think the Cardinals and the Raider game would have been a favorite to be.
They look at ratings. Bears Packers always brings out a strong rating, but I agree. It was based on quality of game. Yeah,
but the NFL used to flex games like that.
They used to flex games. Well, they do the flex towards the end of the season when you talk about playoff games. So the first part of the season,
I would have rather see the Seahawks and the 49ers in the late game.
No, they were much better games, no question about that. But once again, Chicago always has a strong media audience, and the Packers are the Packers. So.
Well, Tennessee goes to Steamboat Country, and they're going to Steamboat Country to get steamboated.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I'm not saying the Titans can't win the game. All right, I'm saying Titans can't win the game.
Yeah, you better be saying
they can't win the game. I'm
gonna say this:
Derrick Henry would have to have a Saquon Barkley type effort to win this game.
If you just now tuning in, I've renamed the Bills, and I call them the Steamboat because they're a well-oiled machine and with a head full of steam. And right now, with no injuries, I see them steamboating every team they play like they're nothing.
Yeah, well, like I said, as I mentioned earlier in the show, they got a great quarterback, and when you have a great quarterback, anything is possible. And so,
what I will say, he's a great quarterback, like you said, but the chances he's taking are unacceptable when you're up by so many points. Last week, I seen him do things that he shouldn't have been taking those chances.
but that's
in
why
week one.
Okay, but that's why he's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback because he's a gunslinger. He's somebody who he's not doing that slide, blah 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 blah. He's going to go in there and try to run over. He's 6'5", 260 pounds, whatever he is, and he's going to try to run you over.
The Bills have the team to be the first one to pull out the perfect season.
Yeah,
they have the team to do it, but we'll see.
They got a team to do it. I just think the NFL is just too strong now.
Are you taking the Bills?
Oh yeah, I got the Bills in this game.
Oh yeah, last game, last but not least, the Vikings at the Eagles.
Okay. Now last week, as I told you guys, and once again, did I even mention this game yet? No. I had the Vikings over the Packers, and didn't you have Aaron Rodgers last week?
Nope.
You took the Vikings too?
You have to look at my picks.
Let me look at the paper here.
Oh, you got it right there?
I got it right here.
You got it right there?
I think you took the Packers.
Let me see. I don't know. Let me see this.
Let's see. I'm right here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You took the Vikings.
Yeah, let me see. Mm-hmm.
No, he took the Vikings.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I see it right here.
But
it's underlined also.
Yeah, I only pointed out to you because this is a guy who loves to talk Aaron Rodgers.
You want to smear my name every chance you get. You want to smear my name.
This guy, for years and years, has been glorifying Aaron Rodgers.
He is the man. It took me until last year to see what I didn't want to see is that he's a tool. Wow. And it took me to do some research by checking out things that wide receivers have said. And you can go and check it out yourself. Greg Jennings tells a great story, and I put it on last season.
Don't forget about Jermichael Finley too.
Hey,
several of his past receivers, tight ends have all come out highly critical of him.
He's all about himself.
It's all about himself.
Football is a team game. Your guys around you have to like you. I'll put this out there. Carolina a while back had a quarterback named Kerry Collins, and he had an alcohol problem, and he would show up to practice drunk, and you could smell the alcohol on him. Carolina, it's a thing that football players do when they don't like a player. The line moved out the way, and they let the defense go, and they put a hit on Kerry Collins, and he threw his helmet down and walked off the field and never played another snap for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I remember that. Let me correct him. You don't have to like the quarterback. You have to respect him, though. A quarterback has. I'll give you an example.
A quarterback. No, I disagree. A quarterback has to be liked by his players.
I'll give you an example. Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly, as a quarterback, was a tool. Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas are notorious for their back and forth dislike for each other. He had also issues with, I think, Kelly. What's his name? The wide receiver, Andre Reed. They had their ups and downs. I mean, there were issues there in Buffalo as far as Kelly's leadership, but Kelly brought it and understood what it took to win, and that's what led them to those 4 Super Bowls. Now they didn't win those Super Bowls, and when we going, that's a whole nother story. But
and that'll be leading to about what I said. When it's a different feeling when you like somebody than when you're just dealing with somebody.
Right.
When you like somebody, you want to see them win as much as you want to see yourself win, and it makes you go a little further, and it propels the team into greatness. When you really don't like somebody, that disdain for somebody will cause things to happen bad for a team.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to what's called accountability. You got to hold yourself to the same account that you want to hold those players. So if you're somebody who wants to sit there and criticize the players, but then when you mess up, you don't want to criticize yourself, then at that point, that's when you lose all respect. And I think that's probably the biggest issue with Aaron Rodgers, that He loves the glory,
Hmm.
but when it comes down to being accountable for his actions, he's never been one to come out and hold himself to account. And so players are like, well, why am I going to fight for this guy if, when he makes an interception, he makes a mistake, he just sits there and blushes it off. But then if I make a mistake, he wants to be the first one to call me out.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to do my pick 4, then we got to get out of here, Steve.
All right, let's do it.
My pick 4 for the week for you to make some money. You got to go get you taking Tom Brady. That's 1.
What?
Carolina 2. And I won't hear nothing from you, Steve. Taking Carolina 2. Taking the Bengals 3. You know what? I'm going to take the Bengals off of there because I kind of felt something like what Steve was saying. Even though the Bengals should run over this team with just by being the first week, but I like Cooper Rush. I'm steer away from that one. Let's go to the Broncos. Take the Broncos for your pick 3. And for pick 4, I'm going to go ahead, take them Buffalo Bills for your pick 4. Go ahead and put 50 on it. Make your 500. Cash at me about $40. And we good.
All right, let me help you guys out.
Only
2 I'm going to do a pick 4 this week.
Kick it out.
Only because I got to help you guys out. I want you guys to win money. I don't want you guys to be down in the dumps like Packer was on Sunday when you take my call after. He when you take my call and say, "Oh, come on."
No, Steve is wrong. Like the game is on. It's in the middle of the game. Steve will call you after a bad play.
Yes.
And call you while you're trying to see what's going on and be like, why didn't you answer the phone? I didn't ignore your phone call. I was in the game, Steve. I was in the game. Go ahead. Tell us your pick 4.
All right, guys. Number 1, the Bills over the Titans.
I picked that one. That sounds like a solid
That's a solid pick.
All right.
Number 2, we're going to go with I'm going to take, for you guys to be safe, I'm going to ignore the Panther pick because that's not going to be a good one.
That would be an easy one right there. Remember Steve said that.
That's not going to be a good one. Take the Broncos over the Texans.
Okay. Bills, Broncos.
I'm going to take Bills. I said Bills, Broncos. I'm going to give you guys the Rams over the Falcons.
Okay. 3, Rams.
And then the clincher, the one that's going to be set in stone that he messed up on. It's going to be, actually, forget that. I'm going to be safe. Colts over the Jags.
Colts over the Jags. Now, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. Steve, I'm not going to be here next week. Should we give them picks for next week?
Let's do the picks for next week.
Well, we're gonna run through these real fast. We're not gonna spend that much time. We won't be here week 3, but we will be here week 4. We're gonna give you week 3 picks real fast. Thursday night game, Steelers at the Browns. I'm taking the Browns. No. What are you taking, Steve? I'm
going to take the Steelers on that one. Even though it's on the road.
I'm taking the Browns. I'm taking the Browns in their stadium.
Okay.
Saints at Carolina. I'm taking Carolina. As you know,
I will go with Carolina too.
Texans at the Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bears also. Chiefs at the Colts. I already know. Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs on that one. That's
Steamboats come through to the Dolphins, and this is a trip because the Dolphins always give the Steamboats problems. Not this time. Steamboats knocked the Dolphins off.
I'll go with the Steamboats too.
Lions at the Vikings.
Ooh.
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Just to shake it up, I'm going to take the Lions. That's my upset pick of the week.
You know you want to
Lions always find a way to.
Ravens at the Patriots.
Ravens, Patriots. Ravens for sure.
I'm taking Ravens all day. Bengals at the Jets. I'm taking the Bengals.
I got Bengals too.
Raiders at the Titans. I'm taking the Raiders once again.
And Tennessee.
in Tennessee.
Just to mess it up for you, I'm gonna take the Titans for the upset.
Well, you gonna put this on your picks too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for these little gems. Eagles at the Commanders. I'm gonna go
I
ahead.
think it's gonna be the Commanders' first loss of the season. I'll take the Eagles.
I'm gonna go ahead and wow. I'm gonna take the Commanders.
Okay.
Jaguars at the Chargers.
Oh, easy.
Chargers.
Chargers.
We both agree on that. Rams at the Cardinals. Taking Matthew Stafford and at Los Angeles Rams.
You know something? Cardinals are gonna be 0-2 by then. You taking the Rams?
Yep.
I'll take the Cardinals.
I need
they can't go 0-3. So
I need every win you give me, Steve.
All right.
I need every win you give me.
All right.
Falcons at the Seahawks. I'm long as Geno Smith is healthy, I'm still taking the Seahawks.
I got the Seahawks too.
Packers at Tampa Bay, taking Tom Brady.
Got Tom Brady too.
49ers at the Broncos. Sorry, Trey Lance. I'm taking Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah. That's a lock, stock, and barrel.
Cowboys at the Giants. I'm taking the Giants.
You know something?
Monday night.
As much as I hate the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys will step it up on Monday night. I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Now, mind you, people, we made these picks ahead of time, so we don't know what injuries are going to be, but those are our picks, and it is what it is. We said what we said. Thank you. Like, subscribe, and share. And not next week, but the following week, we will be back Wednesday at 7.
Thank you guys again. Looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to having a substantial lead by that point. So by week 4, I'm predicting I'll be up by at least 4 to 5 games.
Wow, Steve. Wow. 4 to 5 games for real?
That's my prediction. And the Catman, because he seems to be my only competition. What made you take the Seahawks over the Broncos? Was it just one of those? I just went with the home teams. How'd you get that one right? I just had to bring that up. He's my only competition now. He's 1 game behind me, so I just want to call him out.
Hey,
because only 2 of us were above 10 wins last week.
Call him out, but at the same time, it was only 1 week. By week 3, we'll see how things start to level out. By week 7, I will prevail.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wait and see. Looking forward to it.
We off 1 week, but we'll be back in the following week.
You enjoy yourself, and in 2 weeks, I'm looking forward to having a little fun.
We'll see y'all. Peace.
Peace.